Meanwhile, some on the political left love to use the word, and often use the word, white privilege as an argument in policy debates.
But an exchange that took place on the radio yesterday between host David Webb and legal analyst Ariva Martin was pretty embarrassing for her.
That's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay.
Boom.
David Webb joins us, the host of Fox Nation's Reality Check. David, when she said that to you, obviously you were not face-to-face?
No, we were not. We were on the radio, which is what obviously makes this really interesting to me. That, forget tone, voice, being prepped, as I said to her, she immediately defaulted to an attack, which is a false narrative. There is no such thing as white privilege. There's earned privilege in life that you work for. There are those who may have a form of privilege that they exert on others in a form of influence. But this is about more than just what she said and the embarrassment, and she should be, but the default to this easy false narrative.
What went through your mind when she said that? And your comeback was pretty quick. And what did she say after she learned that you were black?
Well, she apologized. She, you're caught. What do you do? So she apologized. But in that apology, she throws her team under the bus. And first of all, I have never done that to anyone that's ever worked on any of my shows on radio or television. I would never do that. So frankly, they should consider why they're being thrown away. But I have a question. Who gives you the wrong information that I'm white to come on my radio show? Think about that for a minute.
What did she say, her team? What was the bad information?
They gave her the wrong information. So
what does that mean?
Well, that's my question. How do you give someone the wrong information about my skin color? But, I also went into something, and I want people to understand this. There's a serious conversation to be taken from this. As I've said before, our skin is an organ. It doesn't think, it doesn't formulate ideas. Let's look at it that way and go back to the ideas in our head, the ideas in our mind, and the things we need to discuss.
So here's the thing. Let's look at the whole issue in particular. You had a set of beliefs that she just assumed made you white because you believe what?
Because I was talking about law and process and due process. To be fair, we had a long conversation, probably about 12 minutes or so, going into this portion of my interview with her. And it was a fair exchange of ideas. We were talking about issues where we agree, disagree. We're talking about proof, all things that relate to that. And then we got into the story of media coverage, the CBS coverage team that was tweeted out by AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They're being attacked because of color. And that's how we came around to this. Then I talked about qualifications. I'd been through different genres in radio, as you guys know. Rock, urban, hip-hop, you name it. And I've been through different genres in talk. And it was because I did the work, and that's why I made the qualification statement. But being on Patriot Radio with me and being on a conservative talk station, well, I must have been white. It was in her head. But I go back to, who gives you the wrong information about my skin color?
I think that was just her response. She was just caught. I don't think her producers tell her. I would imagine they're not telling her what color skin the person
Well, I
who's
don't
interviewing
look for color, but if I'm being interviewed, and we started here at some point together, right, what do? I go and I look and I go, who am I talking to? What do I know about him? Brian does radio. Well, you and I have known each other a long time, before you were even on this couch. Same thing, Steve. So what do? You look up who you're interviewing, a lawyer, an attorney. You don't go for color, but you go for information.
Clearly, she made a gigantic mistake, and she has apologized. Have you accepted the apology?
It wasn't about accepting or not accepting. She got caught. What I hope people take away from it, because I have no reason to diss her, and I did invite her back, by the way. I said at the interview, let's come back and have a longer conversation about white privilege as you see it. So that invitation is out there, and hopefully we can take from this and the media firestorm, that's what happens, and get into that discussion.
There's definitely a lesson that we can learn here. We can be better people and not make stereotypes and assumptions based on someone's beliefs or how they vote. But if this were happening, if the shoe were on the other foot, if you had done this to her, if a conservative had done this to a liberal, what would be the reaction?
It would be calls for firing. They would be pressuring advertisers. The machine on the left would have gone into full-blown action. They would have demanded that I be thrown off Fox, that I be thrown off Sirius XM Patriot, that I be out of the media and out of the world. And that's a problem, because even though I don't agree with her, I invited her back. I want to have the debate, because the debate lets us expose the ideas and let people decide for themselves. Like I said, our skin's an organ, right? It doesn't think. It doesn't formulate ideas. It just says, this is the result of your parentage.
We'll watch you more on Fox Nation and listen to you more on the radio.
And I always watch you guys in the morning when I'm prepping. So you're part of my prep.
All right, good job.
Sure, blame us.
You did your homework.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it. There's Reality Check with David Webb on Fox Nation. Download the app.